Hi cyberspace, it's time for my Harry Potter review, and it was amazing. I've already seen it twice, and I'm probably going to see it more over Thanksgiving because it was that amazing. It was so good. I'm not going to say it's my favorite because I don't think I've fully processed it yet, even though I've seen it twice. And there are still some things that I'm a little bit iffy on, like some of the things they did and some of the things they left out. So I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's definitely very high on the list. It is definitely a extremely good movie. It was really well done, really well filmed. All the acting was incredible. It was really, really amazing. And I've got a whole list of stuff I want to talk about. And I know I said this was going to be a mostly spoiler-free review, but that was a lie because as you can see by this list, there's a lot of things that I want to mention, and most of them are spoilerful. So if you don't want to hear spoilers or you haven't seen the movie yet, then you can stop watching after I tell you that it's a wonderful movie, it's amazing, and if you haven't seen it, you should go see it like 3 times because it's that good. Um, if you if you don't want spoilers, stop now because the spoilers are going to start in a minute. So stop watching. If you don't want spoilers, stop. Stop here. Have you stopped watching? Okay. For those of you who have seen it or don't care about spoilers, we're going to get started. I'm just going to kind of go down the list. It's not in order. It's whatever came to mind as when I got home Friday night after, well, Saturday morning, 3 o'clock. After watching it the first time, I just kind of started scribbling stuff down. So they're not in any sort of order, but here we go. The Obliviate scene at the beginning when Hermione wipes herself from her parents' memories. I just kind of sat there and I was like, oh my god, it's not even 2 minutes in and I'm already crying. And I wasn't like sobbing, but like I did shed a tear or two. So I was like, that was a very well done way to, show what Ron and Hermione are giving up for Harry. That was really well done. Um, Neville on the train, his line he loses, he's not here. Oh, Neville's amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait for the next one when Neville becomes badass and awesome. I'm so looking forward to it because Neville's amazing and I'm so glad he got a haircut and got rid of that pudding bowl horribleness that he had in the fifth movie. Oh, I'm so excited for Neville. Neville's amazing. Um, in Malfoy Manor, Wormtail didn't die? What the heck? I'm not happy about this because Wormtail is probably my least favorite character in the entire series and I just can't stand him, and I was really actually looking forward to his death scene and looking forward to the resolution of the whole life debt thing and how he owes Harry his life and how I wanted to see how they did the whole hand thing, and then it didn't happen. He just got knocked out by Dobby, and like, go Dobby, but I wanted Wormtail to die, so I'm kind of upset about that. Um, Remus at Grimmauld didn't happen. That whole chapter of the book when Remus runs out on Tonks and goes to Grimmauld Place and is like, "Take me with you. You know, I can help you." And Harry basically calls him a coward and says, "Get your ass back to Tonks." But that wasn't in the movie, and I was kind of sad. And I understand because the writers have problems writing Remus, evidenced by previous movies when Remus had like 2 or 3 lines and they were all fail. So like I can understand why they didn't want to have Remus in there and completely failing and the fans getting angry at them, but I'm really sad that that wasn't in there because I think that that's an important scene for the subplot of Remus and Tonks. And I mean, while they don't really have that whole subplot, I mean, it definitely is there. And like, they did get married, and Tonks tried to mention at the beginning that she's pregnant, but Mad Eye cut her off. And like, I think it would have been a really good way to show that the Order is still fighting and that, Remus wants to help, but Harry's not letting him, and Harry's shutting everyone out. And I think that scene is important, and I'm really sad it wasn't in there. And on that same track, Teddy Lupin apparently doesn't exist because they never said that Tonks is pregnant and we're having a kid, and so I'm looking forward to hopefully at the beginning of the next movie, Remus will come to Shell Cottage and say, "Oh look, Tonks had her baby," but hopefully Teddy Lupin does exist. I'm crossing my fingers because Teddy Lupin's awesome. I loved at the beginning how Fred and George actually had lines for once, and they weren't just like in like a scene here and there. They were like actually a big part of the beginning of the movie. That made me really happy because Fred and George are amazing and they are love. But I loved how most of the lines in the Seven Potters scene actually came from the book. That made me really happy, and I was like quoting it along with them like the first time I saw it, and everyone was, it's really awesome because it's showing how close it is to the book, and And Fred and George are just amazing. I love that whole exchange with Mad Eye at the beginning was just wonderful. So, um, I think they did a very decent job of getting Bill in because it's just like we haven't met Bill ever before, and it was really kind of a nice way to just kind of say hi, I'm Bill. Oh, nice to meet you, and like acknowledge the fact that they haven't met him before, but at the same time, it's like not a big deal. It's just something that happened, and I think they dealt with that really well. But the thing that bothered me about that is that there's still no Charlie. I mean, Charlie's awesome. Charlie's cool, but and it's weird. I guess they're trying to explain it away as either he's still in Romania and it's like, well, he would come back for his brother's wedding, but I don't know. I'm kind of upset that there's no Charlie. Okay, the whole bit at the ministry. It's like my least favorite part in the book. I can't stand it in the book. I think I've read the book like 4 or 5 times and I've skipped the ministry all but two. I've only read the ministry section 2 times and like I hate that part of the book. I always get stuck there. I always get bogged down and but in the movie it's hysterical. I love how they got actors for Runcorn and Cattermole and Mafalda Hopkirk who actually sort of kind of looked like Dan, Rupert, and Emma. They kind of like you could tell who was who just by looking at them, and I think the acting there was wonderful. They did a really good job on the lip syncing, and I think it was it was really funny the bits when Ron kind of like forgets that he's not Cattermole and he's like, "Oh, my wife's down there and she's on there." He's like, Ron, you don't have a wife." That's just it's so funny and it's so and I love the way that like Runcorn walks like nervously and like because in the book it says that Harry was weird because Runcorn was so huge and big and tall and Harry's the scrawny little shrimp and I think they did a really good job portraying Harry as Runcorn's nervousness and kind of like, am I doing this right? What? And I loved right when Harry is turning back into Harry when the polyjuice is wearing off and Umbridge is like, what the hell? And he goes, "You're telling lies, Dolores, and we mustn't tell." It was so perfect to tie back into the fifth book when I must not tell lies on the back of his hand, and that was wonderful. And obviously, I mean, I love Umbridge. I mean, I can't stand her. She's so evil, but Imelda Staunton is so brilliant and so perfect for that role. So she was amazing. Um, Bellatrix was insane, and it was whoa, like it was crazy watching her in the first scene when Voldemort's having the meeting at Malfoy Manor, and she's like, "I'll kill him," and he's like, no," and she's just like shrinks within herself, and you can still tell that she's so crazy, and she was just it was brilliant to watch her, but I mean, she's terrifying. A thing that bothered me is that they had Harry playing with the mirror and they keep bringing up the mirror and he sees the Aberforth's eye in it and he's asking the mirror, help me, but they never explained the mirror and they didn't Sirius didn't even give it to him in the fifth movie and like it's an odd thing for Harry to have without any explanation, so I really hope that they do explain that eventually. Bathilda Bagshot was absolutely terrifying. Like, the woman was creepy as hell, but the snake was terrifying. The first time I saw it, I literally jumped like a mile when it comes up through the floor, right at the end. I jumped and like my leg spasmed and was cramped for the next 5 minutes. Like, it was terrifying. And it wasn't like you didn't know it was coming. Like, they did that with the basilisk in the second movie. It comes out through the floor. I mean, it's the most overused movie gimmick ever, but it was really well done and absolutely terrifying. That part was brilliant. Um, I think bringing Dobby back was, I mean, obviously essential, but the way they did it was absolutely perfect. I mean, I love Dobby, and I cried so hard in the book when he died, but I think the way they did it in the movie was so moving and so sad, and it was so horrible, and I was sobbing like a little kid. Um, Yaxley, all I could think of anytime Yaxley showed up on screen was the Harry Potter sequel, which was kind of distracting and such a problem, but at the same time, like, the guy did such a wonderful job, but all I could think of was a Harry Potter sequel, Yaxley! So that was really funny. Um, I totally called the fact that there would be a camping montage. I'm really proud of myself that I called that. I think it was a really good way to do that. I think there wasn't really any other way for them to do that, but, camping montage, it was, ugh. But it's that way in the book, so, um, this was the movie I think in which we realize, hey, look, Rupert Grint can actually act, and he's not just a comedic guy. He doesn't just have the funny, stupid lines. He can actually act. They can give him stuff of substance, and he can do really well with it. That scene at the beginning when Harry starts walking away from the burrow and Ron runs after him and says, "Where do you think you're going? Do you think these people gave up their lives for you? It has nothing to do with you. It's bigger than all of this. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than this." And I think that was a scene that it needed to be said. It wasn't said in the book and it needed to be said, and I think Rupert did an amazing job with that. And also the scene when he runs out on them, out of the tent, when he leaves them in the tent, and it's you don't know what this feels. You don't have a family. I think that scene was perfectly done. That was really amazing. And also when he comes back and he rescues Harry, that was a really good scene too. And it's like, look, Rupert's not just a funny man. He can actually be serious and be angry, and he can actually act. So congrats, Rupert. Well done. Especially that one scene when he clicks when Hermione realizes that they need the Sword of Gryffindor, and he just clicks the light and he's like, "Yeah, well, we don't have it. Yep, I'm still here." And I think that was like a perfect line for him at that point, because they are kind of leaving him behind, and I think that was like a wonderful line. Snape, I'm really kind of, I mean, I understand in the book he's only in the beginning and then he's obviously at the end, but like it was weird not having Snape throughout the whole movie, but at the beginning I think he did a really good job. He only had a couple lines, but his facial expression, and when Voldemort kills the Muggle studies teacher, Charity Burbage, I think the look on his face and on Draco's face, because they were the two who knew her, I think the looks on their faces are so perfectly horrified, And when she asks him, she says, "Severus, please, we're friends." And the way she says "Severus, please," it almost reminds you of what Dumbledore said, and it's the look on Snape's face is just like, oh, that was really well done. I love you, Alan Rickman. You're wonderful. I love how they remembered to have Harry disarm Draco at Malfoy Manor, because that's like super important as to how Harry becomes the master of the Elder Wand in the next one. And like, I was really glad that they got that right. I was like, thank you for getting that right. I was really worried that something was gonna go wrong, but I'm also really happy that they did remember to have Ron disarm Bellatrix, because this was a thing. My sister actually didn't even notice it the first time, but yeah, Ron needed to disarm Bellatrix so that they could have Bella's wand for when Hermione pretends to be Bella when they break into Gringotts. And I think it was really, really awesome that they got that little tiny detail, and I was really happy about that. And the last thing, the first night we were there, when we saw it the first time, we were either in a theater full of delusional Harry Hermione shippers, or these people have never read the book, because when Harry and Hermione started dancing right after Ron left, and they just had that single moment of fun and all this like horrible stuff that's happening to them, there was a whole group of people in our theater who were like, oh, like they were gonna kiss or whatever, and it's just like, ugh, no, come on, read the book. He's just trying to make her feel better. And I think it was a really nice way to say, look, they can still have a moment of happiness. He is trying to cheer her up, and like he is trying to make her feel better, but I also like how then that only lasted as long as that song lasted. It was only for a moment, and then they were back to the seriousness of, yep, we are at war, never mind, can't be happy. And like, I think that's a really good way to kind of show Harry and Hermione's relationship, to say, yeah, they are just friends. They do see each other kind of as siblings. They love each other, but not in that way. And he's just trying to make her feel better. So that was really nice. And then the one thing that made me laugh, that when I came home and realized it, is how much the locket and the ring from Lord of the Rings are like the same thing. Because I didn't notice it in the book so much, because I didn't picture the locket on a chain like that, but in the movie, the chain that the locket's on is like the same chain that the ring is on in Lord of the Rings. And when Harry put it on over his head, and it's just like Frodo at the beginning, at the end of Fellowship of the Ring, and it's just like, or in Return of the King at Cirith Ungol, when he puts it back on, and Sam's standing there and he's like, oh no, and it's just like, it's the same chain, and the same type of, it just makes you more evil than you are. And I didn't notice that connection until I saw the movie, and then I came home and I was like, oh my god, the locket and the ring are the same thing, and it was really funny. So I thought that was a really funny connection, and it shows that all fantasy literature is sort of connected, and that made me happy. So that's it for my list. I really love this movie.